The problem with UK vitamins isn't the price, it's how they're put together. If you've been taking one for months and felt no real difference, this explains why. We're ranking 7 of the biggest UK multivitamins from worst to best and showing 2 that are built properly. Number 7, Tesco Multivitamins. These are the bottles people grab because they feel like the safest default, cheap, familiar, always in stock, and marketed as the responsible adult choice. But the issue isn't one alarming ingredient, it's the build. Budget multis often rely on lower absorbing mineral forms like magnesium oxide, with some studies reporting absorption around 4%, and synthetic vitamins such as D-L-alpha tocopherol, among the least expensive raw materials available. Then the tablet is padded out with binders like microcrystalline cellulose and fillers such as silicon dioxide or magnesium stearate so it can survive manufacturing and months on a shelf. And this is where people get misled. A heavy bottle feels like value, but much of that weight can come from calcium carbonate, a limestone-derived compound chosen for stability and cost, not performance. If calcium carbonate is near the top of your label, that's not premium formulation, it's structure. It makes the tablet bigger, it doesn't make it better, so you take your daily multi, feel no noticeable difference, and assume you need more. But doubling a low absorption formula rarely fixes the problem. It usually just means more irritation, more waste, and the same nutritional gap. This isn't built to optimize you, it's built to sit on a shelf. Number 6, Centrum Advance. This is one of the most heavily marketed multivitamins on UK shelves, and it sells a simple idea: more ingredients equals better health. That sounds logical, until you think about how absorption actually works. Centrum packs 14 vitamins and 10 minerals into a single tablet. On paper, that looks comprehensive. In reality, it creates a quiet problem most people never consider. Competition. Certain minerals share similar absorption pathways. Magnesium oxide, zinc oxide, ferrous fumarate. When they're all taken together in one crowded formula, overall uptake can drop. So you can swallow a complete tablet and still get less than you expect, not because it's missing nutrients, but because too many are competing at once. Look at the label. Magnesium oxide listed before magnesium citrate. That usually signals cost and stability ahead of performance. And this is the deeper issue. The formula hasn't evolved much in decades, but nutritional thinking has. It stays popular because it's familiar, because it's everywhere, because it's been around. But longevity isn't the same as optimization. A long ingredient list feels impressive, that doesn't mean it's efficient. Number 5, Vitabiotics, specifically the lower cost tablet-based ranges like Pregnacare and Wellwoman. Vitabiotics is a major UK name. It feels premium, it feels considered, it feels safer than supermarket basics, and that's exactly why this matters. Some of the more affordable tablet lines use processing aids and synthetic compounds people don't expect in a wellness product. Ingredients like titanium dioxide for whitening or magnesium stearate as a tablet lubricant. On their own, those aren't dramatic, but they signal something important. These are mass-manufactured tablets first, wellness products second, and here's where it becomes serious. Many of the people buying these aren't casual users. They're women trying to do everything right, especially during pregnancy. Pregnancy is not the time to run on brand trust alone. One ingredient to actively check is retinol palmitate, a synthetic form of vitamin A. UK health guidance, including NHS advice, repeatedly stresses caution around vitamin A intake during pregnancy, particularly at higher levels. That doesn't mean panic, it means attention. The pregnancy aisle isn't automatically the cleanest aisle, it's just the most emotional one. Read the forms, check the amounts. Don't assume popularity equals precision. Pregnancy isn't the time for assumption, it's the time for scrutiny. Number 4, Nature's Aid Complete Multivitamins and Minerals. Nature's Aid has a strong reputation in the UK, and that's exactly why this one matters, because not every line inside a trusted brand is built to the same standard. Some of their lower cost synthetic-based multis rely on cheaper mineral forms and tablet fillers, while their food-based ranges are formulated very differently. And that distinction is easy to miss. Look closely at the label. Magnesium oxide, with studies reporting absorption in the 4 to 10% range. Ferrous fumarate for iron, cyanocobalamin for B12, a form that has to be converted in the liver before it becomes active, and none of those are illegal, none are dramatic, but they are formulation choices, and those choices affect what your body actually gets. Meanwhile, their food-based lines use citrate magnesium, bisglycinate iron, and methylcobalamin, forms that comparative research consistently shows are absorbed more efficiently. Same brand, different build. This is where people lose years. You don't feel worse, so you keep buying, but you don't feel better either, because the formula wasn't built for optimization in the first place. Brand trust can hide that gap. Reputation isn't a formulation. Number 3, MyVitamins. This is where the conversation shifts from formulation to marketing. MyVitamins leans heavily on low-cost synthetic raw materials and standard tablet fillers. But that's not the most important part. The important part is how it's presented. The supplement industry allows very different ingredient forms under the same headline claim. Vitamin C can mean very different things. Magnesium can mean very different things. And natural is often a branding decision, not a chemical one. You can wrap a fully synthetic formula in earthy colors, clean typography, and reassuring language. And most people will never question what's inside. But when you read the actual ingredient list, the pattern is familiar. Magnesium oxide, listed high. Calcium carbonate early for bulk. Isolated ascorbic acid instead of broader vitamin C complexes with bioflavonoids. Nothing illegal, nothing dramatic, just cost-efficient construction dressed up as simplicity. This is how a product can look minimal and responsible on the outside, while the real formulation does very little heavy lifting. When the marketing is stronger than the formula, the outcome usually follows the formula. Number 2, 7C's Complete Multivitamins Adult. 7C's feels like old school trust. It's been around forever. It feels established, reliable, and that's exactly why people stop looking closely. Legacy high street brands often rely on lower-cost synthetic forms, not because they're dangerous, but because they're stable and inexpensive. And this is where the misunderstanding happens. The debate isn't synthetic versus natural. It's about activation. Some synthetic forms require extra conversion steps inside the body before they become biologically active. Take cyanocobalamin. It has to be converted into methylcobalamin before your body can fully use it. That conversion varies from person to person. If yours isn't efficient, you can take it consistently and still feel like nothing much is happening. The same applies to pyridoxine hydrochloride for B6 or vitamin D2 instead of D3, forms that require additional processing or behave differently once absorbed. None of this is dramatic, it's just physiology, but it means two people can take the same tablet and get very different results. With 7C's, the risk isn't toxicity, it's comfort. It feels traditional, so you stop questioning it. But tradition isn't the same as optimization. Familiarity can quietly replace performance. And number 1, Boots Multivitamin. This ranks number 1 because convenience changes behavior. It dissolves instantly, tastes like orange cordial, and feels effortless. That ease is exactly why it works so well, and why it can quietly weaken discipline. On the label, the numbers look standard. B12 at 25 micrograms, B6 at 2 milligrams, niacin at 16 milligrams, vitamin C at 80 milligrams. Nothing extreme, but the fizz also brings roughly 320 milligrams of sodium per tablet, something most people do not associate with a vitamin. Artificial colors such as sunset yellow and tartrazine are included as well. On their own, those details are not dramatic. The issue is behavioral. When a supplement feels like a drink, it stops feeling like a measured dose. It becomes easy to double up, to top up, or to stack it with other fortified products without tracking totals. Water-soluble does not mean unlimited. B6 has upper intake guidance when totals build over time. Sodium adds up too, especially if you are not counting it. This is not about one tablet, it is about habit. The fizz removes friction, and friction is what keeps intake deliberate. If your multivitamin matches what we've just described, cheap mineral forms, crowded formulas, filler-heavy tablets, and you've never noticed much difference, that's probably not a coincidence. So what does a stronger formulation actually look like? Here are 2 UK options built differently from the ground up. First pick, Inessa Advanced Multivitamin. This is what a formula looks like when absorption is prioritized from the start. Instead of defaulting to the cheapest ingredient forms, it uses vitamin D3, K2, and methylcobalamin for B12. Forms chosen for how they function in the body, not just how they look on a label. B6 is included as P5P, folate as 5-MTHF. That means fewer conversion steps compared to pyridoxine or folic acid, and fewer chances for the process to bottleneck. It also includes 100 milligrams of CoQ10, something most basic multivitamins leave out entirely, and uses chelated minerals like zinc, bisglycinate, and magnesium citrate rather than oxide forms typically used to cut costs. And just as important as what's included is what isn't. No unnecessary bulking agents, no filler-heavy construction to make the tablet look substantial. This is the opposite of the kitchen sink multivitamin that wins on ingredient count but loses on efficiency. If you've taken mainstream multis for years and felt very little, this is the kind of switch that makes the difference obvious. Not because it promises miracles, but because the formulation decisions are different from the beginning. Second pick, Together Health Wholefood Multivitamin and Mineral. This is built on a different philosophy entirely. Instead of starting with synthetic isolates and adding structure around them, it starts with food-derived sources and keeps the processing minimal. The focus isn't tablet engineering, it's ingredient integrity. Vitamin D3, sourced from lichen. B vitamins grown from yeast. Beta-carotene derived from carrot. Forms chosen for origin and complexity, not just cost efficiency. And equally important, what's left out. No magnesium stearate, no maltodextrin, no unnecessary bulking agents. Just vegetable capsules and a short, readable ingredient list. For people who suspect it's not the vitamins causing issues, but the additives around them, this kind of simplified construction often feels different, steadier, cleaner, less reactive. It's not about mega dosing, it's about reducing friction between the formula and your body. Food-based, minimal, intentional. That's a very different build philosophy from most high street multis. When this ends, take a look at the multivitamin you've been taking without thinking. Read the first few ingredients. If you recognize what we just talked about, that's not random. Tell me in the comments what you found.